form of some format that you would send to us saying, we have this project, here's where it's at, here's the details, here what we think the funding is, here's what specifically we are asking a waiver for, like we're asking for a waiver of the 35 feet, or we're asking for a waiver of the whole policy. We want to know specifically what you're asking a waiver on, and then if needed, we would have someone from the commission come out and take a look at it. We will have regional people in place to be there, and I foresee that, if it takes 10 days to get you an answer, that's too long in my opinion. But I don't want to tell you like guarantee we'll get you an answer in 10 days, but I would hope in a week or a week and a half, we could really have someone there, especially with as many people as we'll have. We'll have 6 commission staff, 7 with Eric, 8 with me. We'll have some other staff that, across the state, the nutrient management staff might be able to help out with that kind of thing. I think with that much staff, we can get answers on these setbacks fairly quickly. And then that's something we would take into consideration, why you want it to be waived. And then we would make our determination from there and get you an answer. So if you have input on how that process would shake out, I'm sure if this gets passed, we're going to have to shake that out more. But, at this point, that's just my brainstorm on the idea. If you have any specifics, feel free to let me know.
And definitely we want to keep that process pretty flexible because, as you know, every practical situation on a farm is different. So there may be some situation that would require consideration that would just be unique to that farm. And I think if we make it too specific, we wouldn't want that. So we want to keep it pretty broad, I would think, and open for interpretation.
Yep. Next question. Is there a BMP cost estimator or a cost estimation sheet available? I don't know. Eric, is there anything out there like that?
No, not that I'm aware of. I'm sure some of your engineers would have that information. I know some of the district engineers might have that. NRCS could probably give you some estimators.
Okay, another training question. We have a new staff member joining us and might also benefit from learning about AgriLink and REAP. Will these be considered at a training module? Yeah, we're gonna have to put on we'll add some stuff in there. That's, as we grow, I could see us adding that information in there. We are adding 2 more staff members to the AgriLink REAP side. We're gonna be hiring a program specialist 2. That job hopefully will be posted before too long. Hopefully next week that'll be out. And then we're also hiring 2, we'll have 3 total positions. We have 1 person now, Joel kind of runs that side right now, and then there'll be 2 positions under that program specialist 2. So we'll have plenty of people to be able to help put that training on. So good idea. Yep, we could add that stuff to there. Can you please define what is meant by committing funds by December of 24 prior to spending the funds? Will the final allocation in July of 24 need to be committed by December of 24? So committing funds is required by us at the commission, so not required by districts. The commission has to commit $154 million by December of 24. We are doing that through allocations, through contracts, but the districts don't have to commit their funds. So committed means the commission has to commit through a contract to some entity for those funds. That's nothing the districts have to worry about. And no, the districts don't have to have their final allocation spent by December of 24. They have until December of 26 to have the total allocation spent. That answer that, Abby?
Just
yes.
adding.
Yes, thank you.
Just adding to that, I think probably by the middle of 2024, July or so, we'll need to do inventory of what projects are out there, which ones are in the pipeline and ready to be funded, which ones have been bid, and kind of get a sense of where we're at with that, and maybe adjust things on our end by the end of 2024 and get creative with how we commit those funds that aren't going to be spent at the county level to make sure that from our perspective, all of the funds by the end of December are committed. So we may need to do like a sole source contract to get those funds out to you again, like a reallocation or something, but it should be seamless on your end, hopefully.
Yep, thanks, Doug. I agree. Yeah, July of 24 is going to be a pretty big deadline for us here at the commission. Um, we're gonna really have to take a look at spending across the state and where money's at and how it's flowing at that point. So we're gonna have a really firm idea. Um,
Chris has a good question there about permitting,
Chris,
permit
yes.
support.
So
Yeah, I like that
just a
idea.
discussion on the center engineering support is good, but I'm curious if any consideration is being placed on dedicated permitting support. Ah, yes, great question. I will add that to our topic for the center discussion. Um, how do you see, how would you see that working, Chris? Do you think an engineer at the center dedicated to permitting, or is it just a staff member at the center? How would you see that? What help do you need there?
Thanks, Justin. Something similar to what we currently are doing with the South Central region and our CAP funding. If we have challenging projects, we have a standing meeting with Scott Williamson and Nathan there at the South Central region, and they help work through or expedite the permitting process. So it seemed like with such a short timeline for spending the funds, the ACAP funds, dedicated permitting support would be really helpful.
Okay.
Yeah, I like that idea for sure, Chris. And we'll definitely take that in front of the committee the next time. But any support we can offer besides just, engineering technical side, there's also the agronomic side of practices that we'll hopefully install and need support there as well. And then the point you bring up about permitting is a good one.
I saw John had a good question above about work groups. So if the district decides to form the optional advisory group similar to Dirt and Gravel Road Quality Assurance Board, those advisory group meetings will need to be sunshined. I believe that is correct. I usually kick sunshine questions to Karen, but I would assume that if they're doing like they're making recommendations to a district board, uh, that does have to be sunshined. So that is a good assumption at this point. If I hear otherwise, I'll let everybody know, but um, let's run with it at this point. Okay. Yeah, thanks, Matt. I agree. It's some kind of priority, but for permit reviews, and everybody wants priority from DEP, so it's a good idea. We'll see how we can work that out. We were able to work out some stuff with Dirt and Gravel Road with them, so I'm hopeful that we could maybe work on something similar here to get some priority. But good advice. Thank you. Okay, next meeting is February 8th at 9 a.m. We'll continue. We'll hopefully have some more update for you then. If anybody has specifics to cover, please let me know. We can cover it at that meeting. Is there any use out there to expanding these meetings to uh, everyone at like all district techs to start dive into that level of detail? I don't want this group to get too weighed down at this point, but do you want separate meetings for all the techs at some point, or do we want to just form this group into that at somewhere down the road? What are your thoughts?
Jessica just said that she does already include the techs in
Oh,
these meetings.
okay,
So,
perfect.
yeah, I mean, I don't see any harm in that for sure. If they are interested and we can bring them into the loop and it helps with you all getting the work done, that's great.
Yep, I agree. I'm fine with that too. So feel free to expand it out. I know Amy's on the line, but one of the things I want to have Amy do is really get us a good list serve, if you want to call it that, of all the district managers, district techs that are ACAP dedicated to ACAP. So hopefully, Amy, we can get working on that at some point, and maybe that way we can have a set email list of people we want to get these meetings out to, and information statewide. So it's one thing we're working on. Karen, yeah, thanks, Karen. Karen said any committee or work group providing recommendations to the board must comply with the Sunshine Act. So thank you. Jess, similar to sunshining of advisory boards, can the advisory board itself make the funding decision? Posed this question last month, and we were looking into it. Our board voted to delegate approval of the authority to the advisory board instead of taking each out. Oh, good question. I mean, the district board should have the authority to dedicate that approval to a subgroup, I would imagine. Karen, do you have any input into that? Any reason why they wouldn't be able to do that? I can check with legal too to make sure, but if your board is comfortable doing that and your legal counsel's comfortable, I don't know that we will have anything outside of that.
I would agree, Justin.
Yeah,
I would run it
agree.
past your counsel.
The board should be able
Sorry,
to delegate that, but I agree. You might want to check with counsel to be sure.
Yep.
But there again, anything that group does needs to be sunshine to comply with the Sunshine Act.
Thanks, Karen.
Yes, Aaron, the prevailing wage training will be recorded. The only things we don't record at this point, I think, are the advisory and the subcommittee meetings, but all the other stuff, if you have a question on will it be recorded, likely the answer is yes, unless it's a subcommittee or a committee meeting. We don't do those. Okay. All right. Well, thanks everybody. And again, don't hesitate. Don't wait till February 8th to get questions or concerns to me, and let us know where you're at with everything. If you need our help or need us to answer any questions, your board has questions for us, let us know. We'll help however we can. So thank you and appreciate
Thanks,
all your help.
everybody. Just a real quick update here. Where tomorrow, some of you may have heard that we'll be presenting at the Senate Appropriations hearing, which is going to be on the Chesapeake Bay and on ACAP. So if you see a news flash or something about that, it's because we're presenting on that program. And so we'll just give the committees, it's a joint Senate Appropriations Committee and Environmental Resource Committee, and I think the Ag Committee was invited as well. So we're looking forward to doing that tomorrow at the Farm Show. And also on Friday afternoon from 3 to 5, Congressman Thompson is having a listening session as well, just for your information. But if you get the opportunity here in the last several days of the week to get to the Farm Show, please let us know. We'd love to meet up with you. And, definitely it's a good show and there's a lot of good stuff going on. So if we see you there, that would be great. Thanks.
Doug, this is Brenda. I'm also testifying tomorrow at the hearing
Yes.
on behalf of PACD.
Yes, awesome. Yeah, I look forward to seeing you, Brenda, and hearing your testimony. Thanks. Thanks, Justin. Thank you, Eric. Good meeting, and thank you all for taking part. We'll see you again on February 8th.
Thank you.